Julien, welcome to Bijeljina and to Judo Club Panter. I hope that we are good hosts, so we will do our best to make your stay special here.
Thank you very much for having me here in this judo club. So yeah, it has been very nice so far. It's the last training today, and then we'll move going to Serbia. So yes, we've been seeing judo, some special needs group, and also the culture, the city, some nice food also. So yeah, everything is perfect. Thank you very much for having me.
So to start off, what is the Judo Nomad project? Who is Judo Nomad and who is that man without a permanent address?
Okay, so the Judo Nomad project is something I created a little bit more than 4 years ago on 2nd of August 2021. The logic of this project is to promote and share judo by teaching in all the 197 countries for free in all those countries. So far it's been 56 countries, and it should be a project that lasts something like 10 years. About who am I? My name is Julien Brulard. I'm judoka from France, 32 years old. And I've been doing judo pretty much all of my life. I had like relatively okay competition level at like a regional, national level in France. And so at some point I went to Japan and I fell in love with teaching actually, and I decided to create the project for reason that we can talk about after.
How did the idea of Judo Nomad come to life?
Yeah, so as I said, I went to live in Japan. Actually, there is many answer, and that would take a long time to tell it all. But when I went to live in Japan, basically I needed to teach judo in order to receive some salary from my host. And in the beginning, I didn't really wanted to do that because I didn't like it. But then I realized that actually I liked it, like teaching. It was just Japanese little kids. Was very interesting, and I was getting to learn the language, and I was also learning a lot of judo just for myself. I really fell in love with that, and that teacher was actually traveling in France and doing some seminars in France, and thanks to that he could come back in Japan and live the rest of the year in Japan. And it was like sparkling the idea a little bit. I also had an ex-girlfriend there from Indonesia, and we were traveling together sometimes to Bali, sometimes to other places, and I was always going there either to do randori or to teach, and every time it was working very well. So all of that are some of the reason why I created the project, but also the fact that somehow I knew after I went to live in Japan and everything that I somehow didn't have my space anymore as a competitor in France, and that I would need a normal life of salaryman in France and pretty much like forget about judo, maybe going once a week, but something like that. And it's not something that I wanted. So it was my way to be able to take a detour to the traditional system and being able to still do judo.
Many people dreaming about traveling and training, but you turned it into a lifestyle. What was the deciding moment when you left your home and normal life in France and to start this journey?
It's a mix of things. When I went to live in Japan, at the beginning it was to become a better judo players, and my goal was to go to 4 of the best countries without counting France. So I wanted to go to Japan, Korea, Brazil, and maybe Russia. And so I fell in love in Japan, so I stayed in Japan instead. But that idea of traveling the world for judo was already there. At some point, I ended up living 3 years in Japan, and I came back in France, and like the competitive awareness, like I knew that I would not go to the World Championship, Olympic, and like all that. So that dream kind of disappeared, and that's when the teaching kind of took off. And so it was some moment like that in my life. I was like back and forth in Japan, and at some point I came back. And so, for example, I broke up with that ex-girlfriend. I got graduated in France, but somehow I couldn't get into the national team. I was at the age that I need to do something with my life, like just got graduated, and I need to do something, but not only traveling for fun. Even though today I realize actually that it's totally okay to travel just for fun. Like there's no shame about that. But one day during that moment that I was graduated and like everything was that moment, some people, some friends of my family came at home for dinner, and one person mentioned about his brother or uncle, or I don't know, that's been traveling, doing a world tour. And that it was actually very good, and that it didn't cost that much if you prepare it well. Like, of course, it can cost 100,000 euro a year, but if you want, it can cost also 10,000 euro a year. And that talk that day was two things that happened. It was that talk, and in the same time was on the TV, on the national news, was showing the fires in Australia, like with all the animals that were burning and everything. And I was thinking, I want to do that. I want to see the world somehow before it's too late. And I don't want to contribute into making it worse. So that's why I have the logic of taking as less flight as possible. At one time it was no flight at all, but I realized somehow it's not possible in my situation. So those two moments were somehow the deciding moment to start the lifestyle. That is the dream of many people. That is my dream as well. And in the beginning, I strongly believed in it, but I didn't imagine it would go that big until where we are today.
Yeah. Your project is often connected with the idea of a judo peace, judo for peace. How can judo truly help connect people and culture?
Yeah, so judo is, of course, it is a sport today since we see it in the Olympic, but at first, judo is a martial art, and behind a martial art, there is always philosophy. And that thing, I think that's the big difference, without putting down like other sports, but I think that's one of the big difference with other sports, that everything in judo almost have meaning, like deeper meaning. Like we're teaching kids, for example, to learn to fall in the beginning. And yeah, of course, it's to not injure themselves, but it's also a big philosophy lesson for them that, okay, you're gonna fall, okay, you're gonna get beaten, but you have to stand up again and again. And that help a lot of people. So this philosophy, not only the philosophy of falling and standing back up, but the judo philosophy is something that help to connect people. Like I can come in almost any dojos in the world. That's my bet with this project. And the door will open because we're a family, a judo family everywhere. And that's one of the things that I want to show with the project. Us, between judo players, mostly we know it, but a lot of people that don't do judo have no idea about it. And that's one of the things that I want to show, that doesn't matter religion, doesn't matter politics, doesn't matter race. We are welcome pretty much everywhere thanks to judo. So that family, that peace towards us is something that unites us, and that's something that I want to show.
Yeah. You start this year by visiting Balkan. How does the judo culture here compare to the rest of the world?
Yeah, actually, this year I visit some Balkans, but I already visited Balkans on the first year of the project, back then with Serbia and like other countries. The judo culture is somehow similar to the rest of Europe, I would say, but it's a little bit more tough here. Like, for example, kids, okay, they not getting injured, but like a little thing, and they would mostly not cry. They would mostly like, okay, get back up and go. Like, I can see that's a little bit more tough here, a little bit more rough. So that's what I see from the Balkans. But also, like, depending on the countries in Balkans, it's also different. For example, here is different than Croatia. In Croatia, I would say it's a little bit more European, Western European oriented. Serbia is similar than here, for example, in that regards. So that's how I see the Balkans, that it's more tough.
Yeah. How the local communities usually react when you arrive and offer free trainings?
Yeah, so the project, especially now that it's getting more popular, is very well welcome everywhere. It is very rare that I had bad welcoming in any countries. It happened though, but it's very rare. And in the beginning, it was not that popular, so some people were not responding too much. But now, whenever I go somewhere, either I text the federation, and with the federation it's just like going big, or I go to one club, and then from the news and stuff from this club, everybody is asking me to go. So in the beginning, sometimes I was struggling to find a place to go, and now it's more the opposite, that I don't have enough time to go everywhere. So everybody is welcoming, everybody is like giving, especially this year, good condition with like nice hotels and stuff. Like I don't ask people to get me 5 stars hotel, you know, like I just need a bed to sleep. But of course, if I do, it's good. It's good for my health, it's good for my psychology and everything, you know, so I'm very happy. So, and also what I like is that people understand the logic of this project, which is not only judo. The logic is to try to grow judo, but if we only talk about judo, then it's going to be only judo player that's going to watch. But because when I'm in a country, for example, I was in Mostar before, and I went to the city and I'm talking about, okay, it was the war there, and this was the Ottoman Empire, and the Austro, like I'm putting some cultures, you know, and so people that watch my videos before, when I arrive in their club, of course they want to do judo, but they also want to show me, okay, that's the local food, that's this. So it's fitting very well with the project.
Yeah. What is the wildest or unusual location where you have done trainings?
I would say Nepal, though I didn't go to the place I wanted to go in Nepal. Like my goal was to go with Sabrina Firmoser from Austria to what's supposedly the highest dojo in altitude in the world, on the Everest. I couldn't go because it was just too expensive. Instead, I went to many other dojos, like in Kathmandu and like other places over there, and it's hard to say, but like the truth is that the money situation is terrible over there, like really hard. Also a lot of corruption, not especially from judo, but like governments and stuff. And so they struggle just to have mats on the floor. So in Nepal, I've been training like on plastic sheet many times in India as well, where if you have white judo gi, within 2 training, your judo gi is pretty much dead. So that's this first, to have like those plastic sheet in some dojos. They're not all dojos, of course there are some good places also. But for example, one dojo over there, I was teaching and training with kids of prisoners that the association somehow take them to try to give them a better life after, but some of the kids that were there actually have parents that are criminals, murderers, rapists. So that's something a little bit special.
Yeah. Is there a country or club that left a particularly strong impression on you, and why?
There is a lot of them. And, you know, I feel like I have too much experience in those 4 years of my life than I would ever have in 10 of my life, maybe. And so somehow, if I really want to think about something, I need probably to take one full day and like write down everything that I have on my mind. But like right now, out of the blue, I can talk about, for example, Japan, the country of judo. Training in Japan is something that every serious judoka should experience once. It's different from anything else. Japan is the best place in the world for judo. Recently, I was in Russia a few months ago. In Russia, it's very interesting also, like there is a big hype for judo, many kids. And I was in Siberia. It was not that cold when I was there, but that sparkled the idea that I want to go to potentially the coldest city in the world. I forgot, Kamchatka or something like that. Yes. And I would like to see what are the conditions for athletes to train when it is minus 50 in their dojo, you know. Indonesia also. There's much more judo player than what we can imagine actually, because we rarely see any Southeast Asian in championships, but there's a big numbers of judo players, and there is a Japanese sensei called Sensei Sengoku, and we made a video together on my YouTube channel that built a full dojo for little kids there. And it's a beautiful place. They don't have to pay anything. The dojo is a mix of Japanese and Balinese architecture. So, you know, if like I could keep going like this for hours actually about places that really struck my mind.
Yeah. What surprised you the most when you saw judo in less developed or smaller judo nations?
It's a little bit like what people would expect me to say, but actually that everybody adapt to everything. Like, doesn't matter that they don't have mat, they would still throw themselves on the floor. Doesn't matter they don't have mat, they would still do randori and they still go hard. So it's not a surprise, actually. It's more confirmation and on what I thought, that those people, doesn't matter they don't have anything, they would still train hard, even harder than many of the people that have everything. You know, that's one of the things that I think can surprise some people.
What is the biggest difference between French system and the system here in Balkan country?
The organization. I don't know if there is any Balkan countries, okay, so in general. So yeah, in some of the Balkan countries, you can have some kind of structure with national teams and stuff, but most of the time it's gonna be a club that kind of hosts the national team, while in France, the system is very structured. You have like a pyramid system. I'm making video on that on YouTube at the moment. And so it's very easy for athletes to understand what you have to do in order to reach the top. While when it's not structured, it can be a little bit hard. For example, you win the national championship here doesn't mean that you're gonna go to the world championship. While in France, you know exactly what you need to do. If you want to go to the world championship, step by step, that structure is very well done, starting from clubs, cadet, junior, and senior with like different level every time.
How do you stay in shape when you are constantly changing pads, foods, and dojos also?
Yeah, I think I'm somehow a little bit lucky with genetic because I'm having a terrible lifestyle actually, and I gained weight. I gained almost 10 kilo, but still I'm okay. A little bit more fat, but okay. Well, I'm on the mat pretty much every day. That's one of the things. Even though I'm teaching, I'm still moving a little bit, so that helped. But there will be some weeks where I'm hosted in some place where I will eat like really bad food sometimes, and sometimes people are gonna bring me to drink like in different place. Like, and very often it's a little bit the challenge, like, oh, the French is here and we have to show him how we drink here, like those kind of things, you know. So I'm always trying to stay a little bit away from this, but also you have to show respect. And so it's a little bit of balance, but I try whenever I can to mostly go to run, either running or gym in my room, because like getting a gym is expensive and I don't have too much time. And also I want to stay injury free, so I should not get too tired either. So mostly like that, you know, just trying my best to whenever I can doing some training, keeping the teaching in the evening, not doing too much randori or like with young ones because it's dangerous if I go with the older ones. This year I'm coming back more often in France, something like once every 2 months. When I come back in France, it's about 10 days every time. So those 10 days I'm like in a training camp and eating perfect food with my family because we have garden and everything and training every day. And usually when I come back in France, I always lose 2 kilo.
Yeah, tell about food here in Bijeljina and portions.
Yeah, the portions are huge. The last time we went together to a restaurant and like it was a big, I forgot how it's called. Yes, this one. And like it was just for me, but I had to cut it in 4 because it's not manageable for me.
And other meats. Other meats.
Yeah. And we also have like the other meat, like the meze before the appetizer and all that. Of course, it's huge. Plus the coffee that usually go with a sweet. Yeah.
Tell me, how do you finance entire project and how important is community support your platform like Patreon?
Yeah, so again, it's about adaptability, flexibility. And the thing is, I'm always trying to find and to balance like what's the best thing to do and trying things if it is working good, if it is not okay. For example, last year I tried to make an online shop. I tried for 1 year, didn't work, I closed. So right now, what it is that I have some support from the IGF. This year, for example, it didn't arrive yet, but I hope that they will support. A year cost about 30,000 euro, and the IGF was giving me 5,000 euro every year. But actually 30,000 is pretty much for the basic needs that I have. But if I want to hire someone, for example, to help me, or like starting to build a dojo, a Judo Nomad Academy, those kind of things, it would be much bigger. But the most basic is 30,000. So we got 5,000 already with them. Then there is this buy me a coffee strategy thing, which is on Patreon and another website called Tipeee. It's a French one. And the logic of that is that people should, if they want, give an amount of money monthly that they pretty much don't see at the end of the month on their bills, because I don't want to be something that annoys them. So it starts from $1.40 a month. And there are like many people that give $1.40 a month, and it goes up to whatever. For example, the biggest donator is 200 euro a month. And I have about 120 people that do that monthly. And at the moment, actually, I'm close to 1,000 euro a month. I'm at 930 or 40, something like that. But just last month, actually, I was not even at 700 euros. So it was very hard. I was that close to stop. There's also another way. The thing is that I'm selling some merch, but it's very complicated because it's not exactly official, I would say, the way I do. And I want to make it official as soon as I can, but the thing is that it's costing more money actually to make it official. And as I said, I was that close to stop the project, and I had to find solution. So that's why I did that, and actually I didn't make any money on that. It's just being able to survive, you know. So that's what I say, always adapting to the situations.
Yeah, anyway, I will put a link in description of your Patreon.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell us more about Judo Nomad Academy?
Yeah, so the project is something like 10 years. And my idea is, actually, again, it's a long topic, but my idea is I would like to build Nomad Academies around the world, starting probably in Southeast Asia. And this would be a place where people from anywhere in the world can come with a local group. I would like to have a local group that, for example, in developing countries, don't have to pay the training, especially children's. But when foreigners come to the countries, then they have to pay. And again, I don't want to put like a strict tariff, like they choose the amount they would give, you know. But again, it's flexibility and adaptability. We need to try and see how it goes, you know. So I think I would like to start with Thailand or Bali maybe, and then maybe South America, and we'll see how it goes. There is this Nomad Academy things, which would be one. There is also like Nomad training camps that I would like to do that would be actually easier and cheaper to organize. Since I know many people in the world, athletes, champions and stuff, I would like to organize camps in different places, try to gather people together. And lastly, I want to make some kind of teacher federations where, for example, you want to travel somewhere and you would be on that federation, the local people on that place, they see that you're here, and if they're interested, they can ask you, or on the other way, you can also ask them if they're interested, and maybe they can help with tickets or something. You know? So there are many ideas.
What have been the biggest challenge so far for you?
The biggest challenge, there are two. One is the budget. Money is something that I hate. I hate asking people to support, sending money and stuff like this, you know. And sadly, the thing with this project is that that time that we share on the mat is something like 20%, not even 20% of my time working on the project. Most of my time is trying to get new sponsor, trying to remind people that, for example, they could upgrade their Patreon or start the Patreon or things like this, you know. So I wish someday I could be in peace and not think about, okay, if I don't have donation next week, then maybe I will not be able to eat 2 meals a day. And that happened very often, actually, that I eat only once a day, or that I cannot sleep. So I need to take a bus to go to the next place, and I will sleep in the bus. The reality is that I never sleep in the bus. So I skip meal, I skip nights like many times, and this is very, very stressful. And that is linked to injuries. And that's the second thing, like injuries, health problem, political problems sometimes also, like all those things are the most stressful ones.
Do you already think about what comes after you visit all countries?
Yeah, well, the academies, as I said, but I have many different ideas. Like it could be the academies, it could be also taking position somewhere in a federation. For example, I have very good contact with Vanuatu, the team that I'm coaching for the Olympic. I have very good contact with Indonesia. I had good contact in Georgia also that told me something is possible. In Norway, like there's many federation where I could go after. There's also like local judo clubs. I also like the link like between martial art and, for example, like bringing judo to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or judo to MMA, those kind of things. Like there are many, many possibilities after. And what's possible also, I have very good relationship now with the International Judo Federation, some with the Olympic Committee also. So why not trying to grow things together and eventually taking a spot somewhere? Right now I'm nominated at the IGF Awards for Judo for Peace. That's a big honor because I'm nominated by the IGF for that, and they also nominated me last year on a project, UNESCO project, also for peace through sports. So I hope that maybe someday we can do something together. And if not, it's already like 3 options. And if not, I can also come back in France, start to do judo in France dojo, and I can also come back to a normal life. There is also my YouTube that is not that big at the moment. It's like more than 10,000 followers, which is not small either. And the thing with YouTube is that at the moment I just do videos pretty much to thanks people, and so I'm not working too much on trying to blow up on YouTube, but I know how to make videos that work much better, so maybe focusing on YouTube could be also something.
Can you tell me about Olympic Games?
2024 Paris, I was the coach for Vanuatu with Hugo Combo in -81. So I was in Vanuatu a few months before that event, and everything worked very fine together. They liked the project and they asked me if I could become the coach. So we went there together. It was in a bad situation, actually, bad moment, because Hugo's living in New Caledonia, and it was during a big moment of riots and protests and stuff like this. So I couldn't go to him actually for the training camp to try to prepare him before the Olympic. Then we tried to bring him in Australia because I was there back then, but because of the riots, couldn't fly. So we pretty much met like 1 week actually before the Olympic. And so it was something, but we stayed 3 weeks on the Olympic Village, and it was amazing to see all the champions, to also be back with all of my friends that I've met from Finland, from many different countries, like very good. It's also a big privilege to do that. It helped the project to gain in legitimacy. I tried to do my best for my athletes, but then when the coaching job was done, I was, of course, enjoying the games, but also trying to promote what I do. So it's one of the best moments of my life.
Do you miss normal life?
Yes, I do. Sometimes I miss routines, but the thing is, I think I got addicted to what I do. And for example, I'm doing that now, I'm here, and somehow, yes, okay, I miss home. I want to be back home. That come to my mind often, and I want to see my parents, I want to see my friends, I want to drink wine and eat cheese. But then when I come back home after 1 week, I miss being on the road again. So it's a little bit of a luxury privilege, and it's okay. It's just a balance to find, and that's okay.
Do you have any message for young judokas who dream big?
Yeah, they don't even have to dream big. Actually, the point is, judo is a game. Judo is a martial arts, is a sport, but in the end, judo is just a game. And try to have as much pleasure as you can. Try to keep enjoy. It doesn't matter you're 5 years old, 15 years old, 25 or 50 years old. When you're competing for the hard competition and try to do the training, of course it's going to be hard, but you need to try to find the sparkle, to try to find the joy into the randoris and things like this. That's what make people last longer, because if you come to training and you don't want to come to training, that can happen sometimes. But overall, you should only look for fun, because that's what makes people last longer. And start teaching, because teaching will teach you a lot on yourself.
What is the next country you are visiting?
Yeah, so I changed the plan. I was supposed to go to Montenegro, but I got a request near Italy in Croatia, in Poreč. So I'm going to Poreč, but just short time, 3 days, and then I will try to go in as much cities as possible in Italy. And then we'll see. Probably I will go back on my road with Montenegro, Albania, Greece, and Cyprus.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Do you want to any more to talk? I think we have all.
It's going to start.
Yeah, because of that. Julien, thank you so much for coming here in Bijeljina to my Judo Club Panter. It was a pleasure having you here, and good luck with your mission.
Thank you very much for having me, and let's have fun. The kid's gonna come in 4 minutes.
And everyone who's watching, follow Julien and donate him. Also subscribe, follow, like, and that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.